Several religious believe that once hell reaches its maximum capacity, the banished souls of the dead will be forced to return to their rotten bodies.
They say these awesome angry souls
may actually crawl from their graves and join us again. Many actually believe this has already begun to happen.
The most unthinkable outcome is coming to existence, straight up on some horror science fiction. Here I sit with a hammer in my hand, same hammer that I used on the porch to kill a man. Well, he looked like a man, but his face was half gone, and his eyes were all red, and he was crawling on the lawn, tried to reach for me and bite me, so I popped him in his dome with a hammer in his forehead and watched his head explode. Sheer terror, I was spattered with blood and went into shock, till I noticed 50 more of them coming around the block. Back inside, boarding up the doors, they're outside banging like they know that I'm the main course. Reinforce the windows, they're coming through in twos, 14 in the room, and I'm panicking like what the fuck can I do? Overpowered and outnumbered, knowing that I'ma die, till I stumble to the floor thinking how will I survive? When they're all around you, now you're under, they surround you. How impossible, they found you, now they're
ripping, beating, tearing you apart.
Now you're cold and bleeding, they surround you, they're still feeding. You can feel your heart still beating.
Ripped open, singing, how will I survive?
Okay, going over the account of the case involving Samjaza, you are currently charged by the High Council with the murder of the King of Megiddo, violation of the Treaty of the Nine Lords, waging war against the Nine Kingdoms with the Magogites, and the genocide of the Nephilim children that were under the king's protection, and so the murder of multiple court members.
do not forget the corruption of their council.
That falls under the violation of the treaties with the Nine Kingdoms, but I'll admit it and run them as consecutive and listed in the charges details. Now at this time it is our custom to ask you, Samjaza, do you have any descendants?
No, Samjaza has not been allowed to bear any children or maintain a substantial bloodline.
Very well, it is customary of the court to offer him a chance to bear 7 children, each under the protection of the court, to ensure that the genocide does not continue.
At one time we had surrogates for this, but in this era we have ways of preserving your seed to genetically replicate and preserve it.
This decision is being given because the possibility of destruction is now on the table.
Your Honor, the defendant did work within reason that does not fit their behavior pattern of the accusations here. We are comparing Samjaza, who died as a child before being placed in the position of the Leviathan. The only crimes he is guilty of is maybe theft, which he paid the price for his crime as Pan. There are others who have suffered the same affliction of this shadow entity. The Leviathan is not the only victim here. I call as a witness, Malik, also known as the Dark One, the fallen chosen one of the light. Ah, the child of the house where the woman was found slaughtered. Yes, I remember this.
Malik, can you describe the details of this darkness that consumed you into becoming the Dark One?
Yes, I wish to change my prior statement on that. As a former.
Malik, take note of the expression, former. This court does not have to acknowledge your former status on the council, and we only need your description of what you experienced prior to and immediately following your exile into the Forbidden Realm for now.
Very well. When I was cast into the Forbidden Realm, into the darkness, in exile, beforehand it was like I was watching a movie but unable to act, and my choices were narrowed to the tunnel vision of thoughts that dwelled on certain feelings, but once I was sealed into exile those things lifted. I was once a man of honor, but I felt like I had done something that no longer made me honorable, but I couldn't remember what it was. May the record show that the witness is describing situations that involve possession.
That's all we needed, Malik, thank you. Stick around until the session's over. The information uncovered here will be put into official records that may affect your status.
Next witness, the spirit of the former king of Megiddo, Jaruk.
Yes, I wish to speak on this matter as well. You are correct. That child was not responsible for the murder of Erasmus. I was under a similar affliction, as Malik of Dor mentioned. That was when the taint of my spirit began. Like he said, it was a presence that smudged out my view, as though sitting in a seat watching things on stage unfold. We were facing the raiding hordes of the Magajides long before my death. I had placed a decree over my kingdom, a curse that if our lands fell to the invaders, then the curse would afflict their crops.
Make note that there are accounts of this affliction occurring before the defendant's death as well, so it could not have been his spirit that caused this in any haunting. Are there any other character witnesses to Samjaza's case in this matter?
Only that the king at the time of the decree against the Nephilim happened, while he was under possession by this dark spirit.
Now I call Samjaza to the stand to explain the details of his actions after I offered him salvation from destruction prior to this council's review of the situation.
It was nothing like what is being assumed here. You know what happened, council member. You were there and outlined the path I should take.
What I advised you to do and what you did are two different things. Exactly how different is the problem here that needs to be known.
Fine. I gave the children the ritual that turned me into the Leviathan, to preserve myself, but I did not know I would become subjugated to the call of wizards. It was a deal from the devil himself. I can't believe I just said that, but it was. I've been stuck in this genie of the lamp servitude ever since. Objection? What is the relevance?
Sustained. I see the point of it, so please, to the point.
The point of the matter has been proven. That there was a force that was recorded by the other members of the council to having encountered, as well as the witnesses' accounts of a similar encounter.
Then it is by overwhelming evidence that the charges against Samjaza for crimes against the treaties of the Nine Lords, murder of the king of Megiddo, murder of Name, his mother, and the genocide of the Nephilim children are dismissed. The parties responsible are found to be the Magajides. However, Samjaza, for your actions taken over the many epochs of time since, those of your own accord that were not founded in your defense for survival but were self-serving attacks against the innocent people that led them to great harm and even death. For those many acts I do sentence you to exile in the plains of Urula for a time of 150 years. For the destruction of the many cultures, cities, and lives that were unnecessarily caused by your hand intentionally. Do you contest this decision, Samjaza?
This judgment has waited this long because you were not responsible until up to this point. Do you understand why I am giving you this sentence? No, you're right in this. I accept your judgment. You are one of great honor, thank you.
Then this court is concluded. Make sure to list this into official recorded accounts so that all may know of the details of these proceedings, and be sure to enter the witnesses' accounts to their situations as well.
Malik, I know that you feel jaded by the outcome of your situation, but the world is in need of men who know the honorable path. Would you consider taking up your previous position if it was offered to you, starting from a novice rank, of course, to get you acclimated to the ways things are done now?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
The world can't get itself right by itself. It needs guidance from those who know the path, but I'll put the possibility through and see if it's open or not. How's that?
That'd be just fine.
Then may you find all that you've sought, Samjaza, during your time in exile, to the plane of banishment. Your seal shall be revoked and forbidden to be called upon in that time. Like Votan the Wanderer, you are here be cast to the status of warlock and must wander the earth like Cain. There of course was a reason behind my decision to exile as his sentence, as I'm sure he is behind the question here. Little does he know or remember, but his father, Samael, was also banished to the exact same path I have set him upon. Samjaza suffered a childhood without knowing his father. He knew of him, but Samael was a popular hero. His skills were constantly called upon, and so Samjaza knew very little of his actual father. I think it attributed to his spoiled behavior, but anyways. His father was also exiled to the plains of Urulu, a place of banishment for criminal wizards. I know that along the path of his journey he will encounter both the spirit of his father that still lingers in the reflective image of the parallel dimension, as they call it today. This is why I banished him there in exile, to be reunited with his father's strongest presence even up to today. free of being conjured or called upon, and in a long enough exile to where the world might forget about him and allow father and son to be reunited in peace in the afterlife finally.
Before I finish here, I've been asked about my opinion on the Luigi Mangione case. My opinion about him is that he is being groomed as an assassin for Donald Trump. As I have said before, I do not like that man, but if I wanted him dead, then he simply would be dead. Oh, while we are on that subject, you should listen to the warnings of the Hebrews. I remember now how we brought about the plagues upon Egypt, including the last plague.